In a significant policy shift, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has announced an immediate pause on the issuance of all new work visas for foreign commercial truck drivers. The move comes in the wake of a tragic and fatal accident in Florida, where 3 people were killed in a crash allegedly caused by an immigrant truck driver from India. Federal investigators are still examining how the driver, Harjinder Singh, obtained a commercial driver's license, as he reportedly failed both English proficiency and road sign tests. The incident has intensified scrutiny on the qualifications of foreign drivers operating on U.S. roads. The decision was met with praise from conservative policy experts. The Center for Immigration Studies called the move long overdue, arguing that there are legitimate questions about the competency and safety of foreign drivers. The Heritage Foundation's Border Security and Immigration Center echoed this sentiment, stating the issue is about both road safety and immigration integrity, and called for an analysis of all current visa-holding commercial drivers. However, the policy is not without its critics. The Cato Institute's Director of Immigration Studies pointed to an existing massive truck driver shortage that is contributing to rising prices for consumer goods, arguing that the decision to halt visas based on a single incident is an absurd way to make policy. This action is part of a broader series of immigration reforms by the Trump administration, which is also conducting a continuous vetting review of the more than 55 million foreigners who currently hold valid U.S. visas. This move is part of a series of assertive actions by the Trump administration, which is also reportedly considering federal intervention in major U.S. cities, leading to a standoff in Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker has forcefully pushed back against reports that the federal government is planning to deploy the National Guard to Chicago to address crime. The governor stated that his administration has received no request for assistance and has made no such request itself. He accused President Trump of attempting to manufacture a crisis and politicizing the military to distract from other issues. This potential deployment follows a similar federal action in Washington, D.C., where hundreds of federal agents and National Guard troops were sent to the streets. According to reports, the Pentagon has been planning a military deployment to Chicago for weeks, which could involve several thousand troops. Governor Pritzker, however, insists there is no emergency that warrants federalizing the Illinois National Guard or sending in active duty military. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, both Democrats, have supported the governor's position. Mayor Johnson warned that an uncoordinated, uncalled for, and unsound deployment could inflame tensions between residents and law enforcement, undermining recent progress. Local officials point to data showing that homicides, robberies, and shootings in the city have all declined significantly over the past year, questioning the rationale for such a dramatic federal intervention. While tensions rise between federal and state governments over law enforcement, another form of political maneuvering is taking center stage in Texas, with national implications for the balance of power in Congress. The Republican-majority Texas legislature has passed a new congressional map drawn specifically to favor Republican candidates. Governor Greg Abbott celebrated the passage, referring to it as the One Big Beautiful Map, and vowing to sign it into law swiftly. The map was approved in both the Texas House and Senate on party-line votes. This redistricting effort is a clear strategic move designed to solidify and potentially expand the Republican Party's hold on the state's congressional delegation for the coming years. The action in Texas has not gone unnoticed. In a direct response, California Governor Gavin Newsom is now reportedly pressing for his own state to redraw its congressional map in a way that would favor Democrats. This development signals a potential escalation in the partisan battles over redistricting, where a move by one party in a key state can trigger a retaliatory measure in another. This tit-for-tat approach to drawing electoral boundaries, often criticized as gerrymandering, underscores the high stakes involved in controlling the U.S. House of Representatives and could lead to further political polarization across the country. Staying in California, Governor Newsom is also at the center of another major policy debate, this one involving a surprising pivot on the state's long-standing climate goals. In a significant reversal from his previously hardline decarbonization stance, Newsom is now urging state lawmakers to consider a plan that would dramatically loosen restrictions on oil drilling and refining within the state. This shift, which would have seemed highly unlikely just a year ago, is being driven by what officials are calling a sobering economic reality. The state is facing an impending crisis as several major oil refineries have either recently closed or announced their departure from the Golden State. This has created a serious mismatch between California's ongoing high demand for conventional transportation fuels like gasoline and diesel and its diminishing in-state capacity to produce them. Fearing a critical supply shortage and subsequent price spikes for consumers at the pump, the governor has directed state agencies to work directly with the remaining refiners to find ways to bridge the gap. The proposed plan is a pragmatic, if controversial, attempt to manage the difficult transition period as California moves toward its ambitious goal of carbon neutrality, highlighting the immense practical challenges of balancing environmental targets with immediate economic and energy needs. While California grapples with policy and reality, a federal court in Minnesota has just settled a significant legal dispute concerning the intersection of state programs and religious freedom. A federal judge has struck down a 2023 Minnesota state law that barred religious colleges from participating in a popular state program if those institutions required students to sign a statement of faith. The program in question, the Post-Secondary Enrollment Options Program, or PSEO, allows eligible high school students to take college courses and earn college credits at no cost to them. The law had effectively excluded several faith-based colleges from this public benefit. In a comprehensive 70-page ruling, U.S. District Judge Nancy Brazel concluded that the state law, which was an amendment to the Minnesota Human Rights Act, was an unconstitutional violation of the First Amendment's guarantee of religious freedom. The judge reasoned that the state cannot disqualify an institution from a generally available public benefit program solely because of its religious character or its faith-based requirements for students. The ruling affirms that religious organizations cannot be forced to choose between adhering to their core principles and participating in public programs, setting a key precedent for similar cases involving religious liberty and access to state benefits.